Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Krystal Smit, and welcome to our home in Los Angeles, California. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
My name is Krystal Smit, and I am a home and lifestyle creator based here in Los Angeles, California. So we're here in our new home in Los Angeles. So we moved back to LA about 6 months ago. We moved back here from Austin. We originally lived in LA, decided to try someplace new, and we are back. So we are getting settled into our new home, and we absolutely love it so far. So we actually were looking for quite a while here in LA, and that was partly due to the fact that our house in Austin took much longer to sell than we had hoped. So it took about 5 months to sell. So we had a good amount of time to look around, kind of look at a bunch of different houses, a bunch of different areas, and having lived here previously, we kind of knew where we wanted to land, but honestly, the house for me was the most important thing. So my husband actually saw this house first. He was here for work and gave me a FaceTime tour. And I think at that point I knew it was the one, but I was not ready to pull the trigger until I saw it. So fast forward to a couple of months later, our house in Austin finally sold and we were able to really lock it in here. We came back, we saw a few more houses. I saw this one and I think I immediately knew it was the one. This home, I feel, just embodied my style and everything I was looking for. Like, I really love Spanish kind of architecture. So I knew I wanted arches and wooden beams and little bits of character. And while this house isn't Spanish, I think it has all of those elements of character that I was really looking for. And doing what I do and being a home decorating creator, I feel like the home was really the most important thing because it's my canvas to sort of decorate and do all the fun things. So I really wanted something that felt like us. And this house was it. And I love that it's an older home, but it was fully redone by a developer before. So we didn't have to do anything. We previously lived through a renovation and that was the last thing I wanted to do again. So I loved that this house was already done, move-in ready, although we will be making some changes, which I will get to later. But I don't know, we fell in love with this. We're gonna start out in our entryway, and one of the things I loved most about this house was this gorgeous checkered marble floor, which is something I never thought I'd own, but now I do, and I'm obsessed with it. And it continues on into the dining room too, but I just think it's super cool, such like character and built-in statement piece. And then I feel like we have to talk about this chandelier. So, funny story, my husband and I, when we were looking at this house, I literally Google reverse image this chandelier and I was like, oh, she's staying. She is very, very nice, gorgeous crystal chandelier. So I feel there's just so many things that they already did to this home that were already here that I'm obsessed with. So that's amazing. And then we've got all of this big like white wall space that I'm trying to figure out what to do with. I have this like kind of fun, this is actually from Amazon, like oversized art piece here, just to like fill the wall. But I'm thinking if I did a cool like mirror, maybe gallery wall situation over here, I don't know, you have to let me know what you think. But that's a work in progress. And then, I don't know if you can see, but we did this in our last home. We have these really cool neighborhood prints I found on Etsy. And these are all of the major cities we've lived in. So I just think that's a nice little personal touch. Funny enough, you won't see a lot of personal photos in my home, like maybe in our bedroom and stuff, but I like to do personal touches with other things like little pieces of art, coffee table books from like where we've lived and traveled. And then I want to show you this. So this is probably one of my favorite things about the house. This is original, clearly. So this house was built in 1972. And you should have seen pictures of this house before the developer took it over. It was original and like full, I think neoclassical, like Hollywood glam. But when they did the remodel, they left this. And I think it's super cool. Like, who doesn't want a cherub in their house? Like, I love it. And I just love a juxtaposition with new and old. So I think it's super cool. And then if you want to come over here, few little pieces of decor and things. So I love this mirror. I found this mirror at our house and then they soon discontinued it. And I would like to start a campaign for our house to bring this mirror back because that's how much I love it. I love an iron ornate detail. So sorry, I can't lick it for you because she's no longer, but I love her. And then we just have a little moment here of an entryway table, some decor. If there's one thing about me, I like to switch things out often and with the seasons. So actually most of my house before this shoot was decorated for fall. Because it's August and in social media land, we're already well into fall, so I had to switch it back to something less seasonal. But for fall, for the holidays, maybe I'll switch the florals out for something else, but for now, this is the little setup and I love it. So now I wanna take you into the living room. Follow me. So let's go through our living room, but before we do that, I feel like I have to introduce my guest stars today. This is Conway, this is Banks, our two corgis. We are obsessed with them, and as you can see, they live for the lights. They love to be on camera, so they might be joining us for this tour. But anyway, back to the decorations. So this is our living room, and I'm obsessed with it because of all of the natural light and that it leads into our backyard. And I think this is the one really big thing we want to do is we want to make those like custom steel French doors eventually. I feel like that would be really cool. I love that. So that's an eventually, you know, we're recouping here from the purchase of our house, but eventually we're probably going to do that. I think that'd be super cool. But anyway, here is the living room. So we have a really like cozy, nice setup. I really wanted this space to feel somewhat neutral, but also pops of like green, rich wood, black, like botanical, just very interesting. I think a lot of the inspiration images I used were from Steve, I'm gonna butcher his last name, Cordoni. I think those are a lot of the things I pinned, but I just saw lots of images of like contrast with green, but also still natural and interesting. And that's what I wanted to do with this space. So we have this really big, beautiful, extra deep sofa because we love sitting on the sofa. We love watching TV. We love lounging here. So nice, big, comfy sofa. I did a sofa table behind, just like kind of break up the space, separate it from the living room. So this table is also always being switched out. I think I've had 3 different tables here now. As I said before, I like to play with decor. We like to switch it up. So, and also I love doing it because I can show my followers, if you will, different ideas in how to decorate. So we have this sofa table, some decor on it. The sofa, I feel like I also have to point out like these pillow covers. I have a lot of Amazon decor in my house and I love finding super cool designer inspired things on Amazon. Boys, I'm gonna have to go get Greg to get you. Can you behave for just a little bit? Okay, great. But I love these pillow covers, like a fun little pop of like a subtle neutral print. You'll see a lot of cheetahs, by the way, in my home. I have like a fascination with cheetahs right now. I feel like they're very chic. And then this gorgeous coffee table. And one thing I love doing is decorating with coffee table books. I think it's something you see in like luxury hotel lobbies, something you find on a lot of like images on Pinterest. So just piled up the coffee table books, a little faux floral. There's a lot of faux florals and greenery in my house because, you know, I don't have time to have the fresh flowers and greenery all the time. So we find the good stuff, the really nice ones, and we put them out and we switch them out throughout the seasons. Over here, these chairs, I feel like these chairs were like the piece de resistance of this space. I found them on Amazon, no joke, and this is the exact color I wanted to bring in, that really rich kind of like verdant olive green, if you will. So these chairs, obsessed, I love them. They're super comfortable. Again, we sit and watch TV in them all the time. And yeah, I mean, I could talk about these chairs all day. And then over, oh yes, this lovely little accent table. I found this at Ballard Designs. I love it. Everybody always asks where it's from. This is where I think I love combining just like different textures and like elements of old but new, if you will. It has an antiqued mirrored glass, a really pretty kind of like fluted brass finish. And I loved it. I love like a classy kind of elevated piece mixed in with more modern, which I think you'll see. And we're back. But I love doing that, mixing like a kind of more traditional elevated style with more modern pieces, which you'll see a lot of in this living room. And then over here, this is just a lot of collected decor. Like again, I'm not afraid of a lot of stuff in a room. It might not look like it, but I feel like here I have a lot of stuff. And it's all, I think minus like 2 things. This is all things I've collected throughout the years. Vintage coffee table books that I've just taken the covers off. I found this at the Rose Bowl flea market, which if you're in LA, I mean, I feel like everybody knows about the Rose Bowl flea market, but I found so many things there and I love this piece of art. I've had it for years. And I got this at the Long Beach antique market. That's another good one. I love these like marble vintage candle holders. And then, okay, funny story about this piece down here, this like lovely old chest. When we moved in and bought our first condo in River North in Chicago, in the storage room, this was there with no owner. And I said, she's fabulous, I need her. So we took her. And this is where we have collected all of our corks throughout the years. And if you see, I don't know, on some of them, I like write, you know, like what we celebrated or what we were doing when we drank that bottle. So what does this one say? This is incredibly materialistic, but this is when my husband took me to Rodeo Drive to buy my leather gift, which I believe was year 4. And we went to some very nice designer stores and I got a leather purse. So that's that, but I love this piece. Okay. Ooh, and then up here. So I actually love this feature that they did. This was part of the remodel. They designed this gorgeous fireplace feature wall, and I love decorating this ledge. I've had so much fun with it. It was actually fully fall, as I mentioned before, a couple days ago, and we have switched her back to something more evergreen. But I have a fun print that's from Wayfair, Amazon. I told you, like, Luxe for Less. It's about the mix. So some beautiful faux florals. Our fireplace that we've never turned on yet, I'm sure we will, but it's currently a heat wave in Los Angeles. So maybe in December we'll turn that on, but she's very pretty. And then we have some like layered artwork. This piece, it's actually a vintage umbrella stand, and I found it on Cherish, another great site to source vintage finds. Over here, I just added this gorgeous faux olive tree. Found her on Amazon. I think she's 8 or 9 feet tall. Oh, and I don't have the uplight turned on. I should turn on the uplight for you guys. Hold on. At night, it's a total vibe. I love an uplight behind a tree or in a corner. Again, it's such a vibe at night. So easy to do. Find them on Amazon. I get these little smart timers, so then they turn on and off at the same time each night. So this chair, I feel like you can't really see, you got to see like the detail from the side. I love these. These were definitely a splurge, a new splurge investment piece, but we've owned them for like 5 years. And I kind of loved just, again, the juxtaposition between this kind of new, modern, interesting chair and then the more traditional green chair. I think it's really cool. Okay, and then we have a giant 75-inch frame TV, because who doesn't need a 75-inch TV in their living room? We do, apparently. We have so many TVs in this house, but you know, it is what it is. But it's a frame, so we can switch it out with cool artwork. I love that. And then this piece, oh my gosh, this is from the Amber Lewis Four Hands collaboration. She is gorgeous and also like super long. I feel like it's perfect with the TV. We have some vintage bookends, new lamp, new decor, some roses. Okay, I said I have a lot of faux, but I did cut some real flowers for this tour. These are roses from our bushes out front. So that there, and then these cool floor candle holders. I found those on Wayfair. And oh, just like a beautiful big neutral kind of rug to tie it all together. I'm thinking about switching this out for fall for something a little bit more warm, like the rugs, the pillow covers, the florals. Those are the things that I love to switch out for the seasons, just to give it a little bit of something different, but you know, it's not gonna break the bank because it's all like accessories. So yeah, that's our living room. My process for switching out a rug with all of this furniture is mostly my husband. He loves it. He loves when he sees a big rug coming in the mail, or he knows that we're gonna be moving furniture around. And that's okay. And also, we won't be showing our garage today because we don't park in there. All of the extra rugs, decor, and furniture go in there. It's my storage area. This is a question I feel like I get all the time on social media about how to describe my interior design style. And I really have a hard time describing it. Maybe it's because I don't have an interior design background. I think I just pick things that I love and kind of hope they all look good together, which is a terrible answer and not a very good one when people are trying to recreate the things that I'm doing. But I'm really drawn to kind of classic traditional styles and silhouettes, but I love a modern take on it. So maybe it's like a new classic, a modern traditional, transitional. I think it's really about just picking things that I love and trying to make them look good together, and adding little bits of character and vintage throughout is something I love to do as well. But also I love luxe and luxury for less. That's a big part of what I do and what I share, is finding really beautiful designer inspired sort of styles and pieces. And where can I find them for less? And that's a place that we all can purchase them from, which is something I love to do. It's how I love to decorate. So I love sharing that with everyone and all of my followers. All right, so let's head on to the kitchen. All right, so here is our kitchen. We're obsessed with it, but we're actually doing a few changes to it soon. So I'll explain. First of all, we have this gorgeous double island layout, which we love, and all of the marble. I know some people don't love marble in the kitchen, some people do. I have come to love it. I love all the little etches and things that it shows. It just like adds a lot of character to the home. And also we did, and I'm gonna actually do, again, unlacquered brass hardware. I love it. I think it's timeless. I think it's so like luxe and rich and expensive looking when it like gets a little worn and patinaed. So I love those finishes. But one thing we are gonna be changing soon is actually the kitchen cabinetry. So I love the wood, but it's a little warm toned, a little orangey for my liking. And now that we've lived with it for like 6 months, I decided that we're gonna just make it a little bit more neutral of a finish, like a more neutral wood, something a little bit more oaky maybe, but we're gonna redo the fronts, we're gonna refinish, so a more cost-effective way of doing it. So stay tuned, you'll have to come back for like another tour once it's all finished. But so that is the kitchen cabinetry. And then we have these gorgeous picture windows out to our backyard, which I absolutely love. I mean, having natural light in a kitchen, I've really never had that before. Our old kitchen was kind of closed off and dark, and to have all of this natural light in the kitchen is just, it's so amazing. And I actually love that they did this sink. It's one of, I don't know what you call it, but it's a marble sink in the counter, which I love. Fun little detail. And then they did all like the panel ready appliances, which is super nice. So I love that. Again, we're just gonna switch it out. I'm actually thinking about adding another set of pendants over this island as well. And maybe we'll switch the pendants out too when we do the kitchen. So we'll have to see, but we actually put these pendants in ourselves. They're from Wayfair. I mean, the install process is a little tricky. I maybe wouldn't recommend doing it with your husband unless you like really have a grasp of what you're doing, but we did it and we survived. So I'm either gonna do these or maybe something different. The kitchen is a work in progress. But I do love our bar stools. I should point out, like, this is kind of like the wood tone I'm going for, I think, for the kitchen cabinetry. So just to give you a little bit of a visual. We have this really cool built-in breakfast nook. I actually just did some peel and stick wallpaper on this wall. Now, This may come as no surprise, but I'm probably gonna switch this too because we're switching the kitchen cabinetry. We're actually probably gonna be painting this breakfast nook, maybe reupholstering. I probably will do another wallpaper, but that's the beauty of peel and stick. But one thing that I know is staying is this gorgeous mirror. I feel like it was just made for this space. I found this at a consignment store in Austin where we lived before, and I just love it so much. I love the detail. So this guy will be staying, and I actually love our little breakfast nook table and chairs here too. So a lot of this will be changing, but you'll see some familiar pieces as well when it's all said and done. Before we head to the dining room, I have to show you this feature. This is our pantry. This door I die for. I cannot, but look at this. How gorgeous is this space? I have never had a pantry before, so this is like a luxury to me, and I love it. It's such a vibe. I have my little coffee bar set up here in the morning. I come in, I turn on my little lamp, I make my coffee, and it's just such a fun feature. I know, I love it. And this leads us into our dining room. So we have some changes coming in here as well. As you can see, they have all this built-in cabinetry, which is the same finish as the kitchen. I am going to be painting this. What color, you ask? I do not know yet, but we're going to be painting it just to kind of give it a different vibe, kind of make it look separate from the kitchen, but still cohesive. So the fronts will match. We're just going to paint it a different color. But I love all of this green marble in here, which is, I feel like, a theme throughout the house is the green, and I love it. So I have it styled here just with like some collected decor. I love this little vignette because like these two things are from Amazon, believe it or not, but I think they're so cool. And then this vase I actually just picked up at the Topanga Vintage Market the other day. It was 25 bucks. I think it was so cool. So again, high, low, new, old, love it. Over here, this is like a small collection. I love collecting vintage decanters. I don't know if these are real crystal. They're probably just glass, but I just think they look really cool and a fun thing to collect. And another thing you'll see that I own a lot of throughout my home are swans. I think they're so chic. I don't know. There's something about a swan. So when I see a swan, I have to have it. And then also this really cool, I think you saw them before. I love a floor candle holder or floor candelabra. I found this one, again, I think at an antique market in Austin. So that's a fun little piece. Then we have our dining table set up. Ask me how many times we've ate dinner in this space so far. Probably like 2 times in the 6 months we've lived here, but I love having it. I love a formal separate dining room, and we did a really beautiful large wood table here, some upholstered chairs that are super comfy, and I actually did switch out this light fixture when we bought this home. I have been obsessed with this one forever. It was a splurge, but it's such a beautiful statement piece. I love how ornate it is, how unique it is. So we're definitely gonna continue this kind of like vibe and theme once the dining room's all done and we kind of put it back together after we do the painting. And over here, oh, I love this piece. This piece is from our house. I had this in our last home. Again, it looks very like traditional and like it could be old, but it's new, and I love that. Yeah, just some artwork that's actually from Amazon, a cool candelabra. And then this is another favorite part. You'll see it kind of mirrors the pantry. They did another arched steel door, and this is a bar cabinet, which is so cool. So we have our little wine bar, little bar setup here. I love that they did the green marble backsplash in here as well. Just come in here and turn on my little wireless lamp that is clearly not charged, never mind. But I love coming in here, just like getting all my cocktail supplies on a Friday. It's just such a vibe, and another really cool design feature they added to this house. So my favorite room in the house. So I have 2. The first one that comes to mind is our powder room. The powder room is, my jaw was on the floor when I saw this room. It has everything I love. There's marble, there's gorgeous floor tile, there's a delightful blush pink like Roman clay on the walls, there's the Anthropology mirror that I owned. Like it is, if I had to design a powder room, which I didn't design this, a wonderful interior designer did, but if I had to design it, I would have done this. And then the second room is what I refer to as our parlor, just because I wanted to make it a little fancy, and that's our front living room. And that's just my space. That's my space where I go to watch my shows and my stories at night with a martini, and I wanted it to just be an eclectic mix of a bunch of things I love in a space that was interesting, and I just love spending time in there. All right, so transitioning from the dining room, before we head into our parlor space, we need to make a quick pit stop at our powder room, which might be one of my favorite rooms in our house. The interior designer killed it in this space. These are all things I would have chosen. Gorgeous marble vanity. I love the kind of greenish handmade tile on the floor. And then this awesome like blush pink Roman clay on the walls, the mirror, the sconces, everything about it is something I would have chosen. It's just my style to a T. And I love that for a powder room because I feel like this is where your guests are probably gonna come and see. And it's just such a good first impression for our home. I'm obsessed. So this is the room I lovingly refer to as our parlor, just because I feel like it sounds fancy and like a little like old Hollywood, which is part of the story of this room. So we learned that the original owner of this house, she was pretty fabulous. And when we saw the photos of this room in particular, it actually had, I think, like a dusty blue carpet, dusty blue drapes, but it was decorated so amazingly. And I thought I needed to have a little nod to that in this space. So I brought in these gorgeous dusty blue chairs, and that's my little nod to what this room used to be. But this, I guess you would call a formal living room. It's kind of my living room because at night when my husband's watching sports, I'm in here watching like Bravo or Love Island, and it's just my little space. And I chose lots of fun, sort of different design features than the other room. I love this rug. This rug has been on my wish list forever, and I decided to make the splurge and get it for this room, and I feel like it's the statement piece and I love it so much. And then we did a fun kind of curved sofa with the round pillows. And just fun things. Like honestly, this room was an excuse to buy pieces that I wanted for so long and hope that they all go together, and I think they do. Like this peacock table, how fabulous is this? That's from Anthropology. And then we have just some kind of cool like burl wood, again, fun coffee table books, lots of vintage pieces in this room. I love like this kind of like vintage cut glass crystal. So you'll see a lot of those pieces. And then I have more swans. So I have a fun swan over here. Okay, so we have to talk about this corner because I feel like I'm obsessed with everything over here. This bar cart, this is the bar cart of my dreams. I was searching for this forever. I actually found this at the Round Top Antique fair, I don't know what you call it in Texas. When we lived in Austin, I drove out, I went looking for this exact piece and I found it. So I found actually just the frame. I had to have the glass cut, but it's just the vintage bar cart of my dreams. I styled it with a bunch of fun, like this is a vintage decanter, some like fun like little potion bottles. These are all from Amazon. Yeah, and just, I mentioned earlier, like using books to bring in a story to your space too, like that Los Angeles Cocktails book. Anytime there's an opportunity to purchase a coffee table book, I want to try to find one that like can tell a story for us or our space or our travels or where we've lived. So it's a fun way to bring in some personal touches to your home. And then over here, again, a mix of like new and old. I love like a little cheeky accent. These Kate Moss photography prints I think are so fun. Oh, and the cheetahs, another thing I find so chic. So we have a little cheetah over here. Another cheetah, a tiger on the screen. And this, I always get questions about this. This is one of those, I think like 1970s vintage peacock screens. I had it in our old home as well. I think it's just such a fun accent. They had a lovely marble fireplace in here, which I'm a sucker for a marble fireplace. So I'm so excited that this was already in the home. And then more arch details, the built-ins, more collected treasures. I just found this darling little swan the other day. Artwork, this is like a little Chateau Marmont print we actually used to live that was in our old neighborhood. So I thought that'd be a fun art piece to bring in. So this back area we have, I love this piece. I've owned this piece forever. I just think it's such a cool, like modern, I don't know, statement piece. Styled it with these cool cheetah lamps. We have some layered artwork and mirrors, this faux black olive tree, which is a fun Amazon find. This swan print, which I always get a lot of questions about. We had it in our old home. I actually purchased it on Etsy. You can purchase like digital downloads on Etsy. I took it to a printer, had it blown up, found a vintage frame. So I made a really cool kind of like custom piece of art for, I don't know, not that much money at all. And yeah, I love that piece. Oh, and then also I want to talk about like this coffee table. So I found this at an antique mall in Austin, and I love it because it's kind of like has that neoclassical vibes on the base, which is a cool nod to this house and like the style of this house. So again, like just mixing new and old, like this coffee table is new, it's from Amazon, but it has like some cool vintage details. This room is just like, it's eclectic, it's layered, it's interesting, and it's one of my favorite rooms in our home. Okay, let's take you upstairs. This is where all of our bedrooms are. Follow me. So this is one of our guest bedrooms, and it was actually, I believe, the little girls' room of the previous owners. So they had this really beautiful, looks very high-end wallpaper already on the walls. And I said, let's keep it, let's roll with it. I'm gonna kind of just sophisticate it a little bit and take a little girl's room and kind of turn it into a more grown-up, elevated version. So we have this queen-size bed, some layered fun bedding. I love these nightstands, another thing that have been on my wish list forever, and they're the perfect size for this space. Just kind of playing into the colors of this wallpaper, but making it a little bit more grown up. We actually put in this modern crystal chandelier. It's an Amazon find. It's a look for less. You'll see it looks very similar to our Entryway chandelier, but she is from Amazon, and it's great. And then we have a dresser over here just with some buffet lamps, some layered artwork. I love this whole vignette. I love it. I think somehow this room came together. I was a little nervous about it, but I kind of ended up loving it, and it just all works. So I think our guests will love it too. I don't know, we'll see. We have to have some more to find out. Okay, so this rug, this is one of my favorite neutral rugs. I own this in our last home too. It's from Rugs USA. It is just, I love like the neutral kind of texture to it. Great for a bedroom, great for a nursery, a little girl's room. And then I have some ottomans at the foot of the bed instead of like a bench or something, because it's a smaller space. So I wanted something at the end of the bed, but not something too bulky. So I like the idea of some ottomans at the end of the bed. So we have a little chair in the corner here, a little floor mirror. You know, I just had this, truth be told. Sometimes you just have a lot of stuff and you don't know what to do with it, and you throw it in a corner and you make it work. So not everything has to be perfect all the time. Use what you have and make it work. All right, so let's take you to another one of our guest bedrooms. Okay, so this is our proper guest suite with a king size bed. Conway is showing you the bed right now. It was made really nicely, but not anymore. I love this room. I wanted to create this really warm, cozy, inviting space, since this is primarily where most of our guests will be staying. We painted the walls. The color is Gracious Greige. Was that the name of it? I think it's Gracious Greige by Benjamin Moore. I don't know, don't quote me, but something like that. Just a nice warm tone on the wall. I did go fairly neutral in here, just using contrast is sort of what's gonna make it interesting. So we have this big layered bed with lots of cozy bedding. All this bedding is actually from Amazon. They're all favorites, really nice luxe materials. These nightstands and these mirrors we actually had in our old primary bedroom. It just worked so well together that I recreated that look in here. I think it's just a fun way to bring some dimension into a bedroom. One of my favorite tricks is kind of doing this layout. And then I did some gallery wall frames here. And this is a fun tip. I love finding art in coffee table books since I own so many. I like to just kind of browse through the pages, find some cool images, and I cut them out and I put them in frames. So just kind of like, I went for like a French kind of like Vogue Victorian fashion vibe here. And I think it's fun, a little something unexpected, but a great way to look for art if you are feeling uninspired or just, it's free. Cut it out of your coffee table books. I guarantee you're probably not reading those anyway. All right, the dogs have left the building, so we're back. We have a dresser here, another television, because every room in our home has a television, and that is fine. We love TV in this house. But I think my favorite part of this guest suite is the bathroom. I think you're gonna die. Well, I did when I saw it. So coming on in, it's dark, it's moody, and it's a dream. So this is that same Rowan clay finish on the wall in this gorgeous like deep navy blue, gorgeous marble vanity, the sconces, this mirror, which I already owned this mirror in our last house, and I came in and I saw they had it and I knew, I was like, this house was made for me. There's just something about this bathroom, the lighting in here. They did a really dark, moody shower as well. All of the brass hardware, this handmade tile on the floor with the marble on the base of the shower. Again, the interior designer of this home just knocked it out of the park with this one, and I'm obsessed. All right, and then we have our primary suite. Fun fact, I actually just finished decorating this yesterday. This was the room I just couldn't figure out. You know how you have one of those rooms in your home, it just takes you forever to kind of figure out what you want to do or like figure out how to decorate. It all came together literally just yesterday. So we have a canopy bed. I love a canopy bed in a bedroom. It just feels cozy and inviting to me. This one is from CB2, and I was obsessed with the detail, this twisted wrought iron. Again, I just love an iron detail. So this bed was perfect. And then we have this kind of big slanted ceiling in here, and there wasn't a different light fixture. My husband and I just put this one in literally 2 days ago, and I love it. I love like a candelabra style chandelier. At night, it just feels like a big canopy that we're under. And I just did all this bedding yesterday. This is so funny because I like polled my followers because I had this blue duvet in our last bedroom, and I didn't know what to do with the bedding because for me, bedding just like, I don't know, sets the tone of the room. And everyone agreed. They're like, you should do the blue again. So I got the blue, I found some pillows to match, and now I am obsessed. Yes, it's a lot of pillows. Everyone asks where the pillows go at night. They go right on the floor, it's fine. And then I just make it again the next morning, but I don't care. I love all of the pillows. I love the layered textures and the colors, a little play on pattern here. This bolster pillow I had made on Etsy. I'm obsessed with this fabric. But again, it's just layered, it's cozy. I love getting into bed at night. I found this artwork, I think at Anthropology, and again, swans. I love swans and I love contrast. So I think that's what this bedroom was missing. So I recently switched out and got these darker nightstands. I found these on Amazon. Some people like a really calm, neutral, light and bright bedroom. I like contrast and interest, and that's what's cozy to me. So whatever's cozy to you, you do you. But for me, I love like a little dark, a little contrast, a mix of finishes, patterns, colors, and I feel like that's just what makes it cozy to me. So, and over here, I love this dresser. This is, I feel like, kind of a really fun modern take on a traditional silhouette too. I found this in Anthropology with the marble top, the fun detail, another television, obviously. And then here we just have a gorgeous big full olive tree, a little accent chair, a gorgeous floor mirror. It's, you know, it's a smallish bedroom, but it just feels, I don't know, it's like so good and cozy, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. But this I feel like is another star of the show. The bathrooms in this home, again, they just killed it. This is our primary bathroom, and I think this is the room that sealed the deal for me when I was touring this house. I saw this bathroom and I said, sold, we'll take it. All of the marble. I mean, can we not look at the shower? It is absolutely stunning. All of the gold, this big giant tub, which I'm not really a bath person, but you bet you I am becoming a bath person with this tub. It's so amazing. And then I just love all of the choices they made, like the pretty gold fixtures. The mirrors were here, these fun sconces. And then I don't know if you can tell on the walls, it is Roman clay again, and it is a little bit of that like kind of blush pink color, which is fun. And they did this marble kind of baseboard and trim everywhere, which I think is such a nice luxe detail. It's all about the details, I think, in the design of a home. And those are the details that got me. And then it also came with this built-in makeup vanity, which I am such a makeup girl. This was my dream. So this is where I sit every day. We have a gorgeous, I won't say her name, but you know what it is, and I can watch TV from it when I get ready, so that's really fun. But I love having this space. It has light, it has big ceilings. This is just, I feel like, the bathroom of my dreams. I'm so lucky that it came designed like this, because honestly, there's nothing I'm changing about it. No notes, done. I love it. My go-to design tip, I think it's all about mixing high and low if you can, and new and old. I think if you have all new stuff, all beautiful, polished, it's not gonna look as like interesting and layered, in my opinion. I love finding little vintage pieces, collected pieces, personal items to mix in that tell a story that may be a little unexpected. And I think that really is what elevates an entire look, and as well as mixing in like lower end things too. I mean, I love budget-friendly decorating, so finding great investment pieces and then accent pieces that are maybe a little bit more affordable, and that way you can really layer in and build a full room. Last but not least, welcome to our backyard. I feel like I keep saying everything sold me on this home, but I think really this backyard did sell us. I cannot believe this is ours. Truly, I wake up every morning and I look out here and I think, wow, I can't believe we get to live here. It's just, it's a dream. We've never owned a pool before, and now we have this gorgeous pool. We actually do swim in it, which is fun. And it's saltwater, which is really nice. It's super deep because it was the original pool. I feel like they just don't make them like this anymore. So it's really kind of fun. And we brought in all of the decor, but the landscaping was all done. The landscaping and the hardscaping. And again, it's something I would have done, like the diamond pavers, gorgeous, a dream. This is our dining area, which we have used a few times. I've had a couple dinner parties out here, so that's really nice. And then, oh, this is, I have to show you, I think, my favorite part of the backyard. So I'll bring you over here. I have this like built-in man cat seating, which is fun. But I don't know if you can tell what's behind it. It's actually a little like fruit tree grove. So we have lemon, lime, orange, apple. I don't know, can you see? Oh, you can see, some are coming in now. It's funny, I keep checking on these oranges every day, and then I just ask, apparently they don't ripen until December, which is months from now, so I should stop like watching paint dry, but we will have a gorgeous crop of citrus fruit apparently in a couple of months. All of this built-in seating, I was here before. I just kind of styled it up with some pillows, some ottomans, some coffee tables. It's a great area to like, you know, sit, have a glass of wine, have a cup of coffee. And then we have a lot of grass and green space back here, which is great for our two dogs. Often you'll find me and my husband out here at night enjoying a glass of wine, and our dogs are just like running and doing zoomies and playing the ball and doing all the things back here. Honestly, it's a dream. We're so lucky to have this backyard, and we love entertaining back here. We love spending time back here, and it's a dream. What does home mean to me? I think it just means a space that I love to be in. I truthfully am kind of a homebody, an introvert at heart. There's actually nothing I love more than tootling around my house on a Sunday afternoon and just decorating and sitting and watching a show. So I think it's really just creating a space that you love to be in a space that you're totally cool with spending a Friday night in and pouring a cocktail and just sitting and being. And yeah, I think that's what home means to me. All right, Homeworthy, thanks so much for coming and seeing my home with me. But now I have to go because it's all nice and clean and done. I'm gonna go film a couple reels. So see you later.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.